In 1970, Cadillac stunned the world with a 500 cubic inch V8, America's most powerful production engine, promising 400 horsepower and effortless luxury. But just 5 years later, the very motor that defined excess became an embarrassing shadow of itself. How did the king of American engines end up killing its own legacy? To find out, we have to start at the moment Cadillac first dared to build bigger than anyone else. Work began on the Cadillac 500 in the late 1960s, deep inside GM's powertrain labs. Cadillac's engineering team, led by Chief Engineer Gilbert C. Burrell, faced a clear challenge. America's luxury cars were getting heavier, and Cadillac's reputation depended on effortless, silent acceleration. The answer wasn't just more power. It was scale. An engine so large and smooth, it could move 5,000 pounds of steel without a hint of strain. The foundation came from the 472 cubic inch V8, itself a technical marvel introduced just 2 years earlier. But for the new Eldorado, engineers stretched the limits. They expanded the bore to 4.3 inches and pushed the stroke to 4.304 inches, creating a block that displaced a staggering 500 cubic inches, 8.2 liters. This engine wasn't designed for high-revving muscle. Its mission was to deliver peak torque low in the rev range, right where luxury drivers needed it most. At just 2,800 RPM, the 500 produced 550 pound-feet of torque, more than any American car engine before or since. Inside Cadillac, the design brief focused on more than raw power. Every part was engineered for durability and quiet operation. Thick castings, reinforced main bearings, and a cam profile tuned for smoothness, not aggression. The result was an engine that could idle nearly silent, yet launch a massive coupe with a gentle press of the throttle. This approach fit Cadillac's identity: unseen strength, delivered without drama. For Burrell's team, the 500 wasn't just about numbers. It was about making the world's most comfortable car feel effortless, no matter how large or heavy it became. Cadillac's showrooms in 1970 buzzed with a new kind of excitement. Window stickers boasted numbers never seen in a luxury car: 500 cubic inches, 400 horsepower, 550 pound-feet of torque. Brochures promised effortless power and commanding authority on any road. The message was clear. Cadillac wasn't just the standard of the world, it was the undisputed king of American prestige. Period advertisements leaned into this image with bold claims and dramatic artwork. One full-page spread showed an Eldorado gliding past lesser cars, the tagline reading, "There's only one way to spell supremacy: Cadillac." Buyers responded in droves. The 1970 Eldorado became the must-have status symbol, its massive V8 a badge of wealth and taste. Dealerships reported customers lining up for test drives, eager to feel the surge of torque that set Cadillac apart from every other brand. Rival luxury makers scrambled to keep up. Chrysler pushed its 446-pack. Lincoln touted the 460, but none could match the sheer displacement or the aura Cadillac projected. Road tests echoed the hype. Reviewers marveled at how the Eldorado could leap forward with a gentle touch, its power always available yet never brash. For a brief moment, the Cadillac 500 wasn't just an engine, it was a cultural event, a declaration that American luxury could be both opulent and unstoppable. In the early 1970s, owning a Cadillac meant you had arrived, and the 500 made sure everyone knew it. The landscape around Cadillac's flagship changed almost overnight. In October 1973, the OPEC oil embargo hit the United States with a force no Detroit engineer could have predicted. Gasoline lines stretched for blocks, and headlines warned of rationing and soaring prices. Suddenly, the idea of a 500 cubic inch engine, once a symbol of prestige, became a liability. Buyers who had flocked to Cadillac showrooms now hesitated, worried about fuel bills and uncertain supply. At the same time, a quieter but equally disruptive change was underway inside the auto industry. For decades, manufacturers had boasted about horsepower using the generous gross rating system. Engines tested without accessories, open exhaust, and ideal lab conditions. Starting in 1972, the Society of Automotive Engineers mandated a new net standard, measuring output with every real-world burden attached: air conditioning, power steering, emissions controls, and full exhaust. The numbers collapsed. The Cadillac 500, once advertised at 400 horsepower, now showed just 235 on paper. To the public, this looked like a disaster. The engine hadn't changed overnight, but the way it was measured had. The double blow of the oil crisis and the new SAE net ratings left Cadillac's mighty V8 looking suddenly out of step with the times. Regulators and consumer advocates seized on the numbers, demanding cleaner, more efficient engines. For Cadillac, the challenge was no longer about building the most powerful engine. It was about defending its reputation in a world where excess had become a dirty word. On paper, the Cadillac 500's decline is impossible to ignore. By 1975, the engine that once promised 400 horsepower now made just 190. Factory brochures quietly updated the numbers, but the real shock came in the service bays and on the streets. Dyno operators, used to seeing early Eldorados pull strong, started logging results that barely matched the output of a family sedan. One modern test of a bone-stock 1975 500, still fitted with its original catalytic converter and emission controls, recorded less than 160 rear-wheel horsepower, barely half the number Cadillac had boasted just a few years before. Dealership service managers faced a wave of frustrated owners. Reports filled the back offices, complaints about sluggish acceleration, cars that struggled to merge onto highways, and engines that felt choked under even gentle throttle. Service bulletins from the era, like Cadillac's number 77-5, walked technicians through the installation of new emission hardware and carburetor recalibrations. Each fix promised compliance, but also chipped away at the engine's soul. Owners who remembered the effortless surge of the early 500 now described their cars as lethargic and unresponsive. Some brought in road test sheets showing quarter-mile times slower than the previous years. Others simply asked if anything could be done to bring back the power they'd paid for. The answer, from service managers and dyno techs alike, was always the same. The world had changed, and the Cadillac 500 could no longer deliver what it once did. The numbers told the story, and for those who cared about performance, the loss was unmistakable. Engineers faced a relentless checklist in the drive to meet new emissions laws. The first step was dropping the compression ratio from 10:1 down to 8.5:1, using dished pistons to lower combustion pressure and temperature. Camshafts were retimed for less overlap, shrinking the window for fuel and air to mix and robbing the engine of both power and its signature low-end punch. Carburetors were recalibrated with smaller jets, pushing leaner mixtures that met federal hydrocarbon targets, but left engines with flat spots and rougher starts. By 1973, exhaust gas recirculation valves and air injection pumps became standard, sending exhaust back through the intake and pumping fresh air into the manifolds to burn off leftover pollutants. The final blow came in 1975. Catalytic converters and single exhaust systems, which choked flow and ramped up back pressure. Each of these hardware fixes delivered cleaner tailpipe results, but at the cost of the effortless power Cadillac buyers once expected. By 1977, the Cadillac 500's fate was sealed. Corporate leadership issued the final order. Production would stop at the end of the model year. The engine that once defined American luxury was now an uncomfortable reminder of a vanished era. Cadillac's own internal reviews admitted the 500 could not adapt to the new world of emissions laws and fuel economy targets. The brand's identity shifted almost overnight. Out went the 500, replaced by the smaller 425 cubic inch V8, a quieter, lighter engine designed to meet regulations, not break records. For many inside Cadillac, and for loyal owners, The end of the 500 wasn't just a technical decision. It was the closing of a chapter, a quiet retreat from the boldness that once set Cadillac apart. In 1970, Cadillac stunned the industry with its 500 cubic inch V8, delivering 400 horsepower, more than any production engine in American passenger car history. But by 1975, that same engine was rated at just 190 horsepower, a decline documented in both dyno tests and dealer reports. Archival records confirm that Cadillac engineers warned of the engine's coming obsolescence as early as 1973. But regulatory and market pressures left little room for alternatives. To this day, many original internal memos from the program remain unreleased, leaving unanswered questions about the decision-making process behind the engine's rapid decline. What is clear is that the fall of the 500 marked a turning point. Cadillac shifted to smaller, more efficient engines, and the era of American excess quietly ended. The Cadillac 500 story is a documented reminder that even the most powerful machines can be undone by forces beyond their control.